Hello everybody, this is ManuS and welcome to another Eternal News episode. So it's time for a spontaneous Eternal News episode since we got pretty spontaneous and surprising balance changes in a very shortly before announced patch last night. So let's take a look. There we go. Patch 1.37 balance changes. And as some people might have expected, they are targeted at TJP, Blitz, Miracle, LSE, whatever you want to call it, or wanted to call it, because I think it might be not a super viable deck now anymore. So what they did is they changed Accelerated Evolution. It now costs 3 instead of 2. I think this is a very good change to nerf the deck. I actually already said on my last stream, for anyone that was present, that I think that this is the best card in the deck secretly, since that's where the deck gets scary. With a lot of decks, I feel fine against the deck and just pray they don't find an evolution. And once they find an evolution, I'm like, okay, I guess now I'm screwed, especially with the Aegis units. When you can't block them and can't deal with them well enough, you're just screwed. So that seems like a very sensible nerf. It's also a nerf that doesn't affect a lot of other stuff. Although I still think LSE might be too good too, since costing 1 and being so powerful is just a lot. Like the card could easily cost 2 and still be solid, or at least, for example, not give armor as well to make her a little less good at buying time and stabilizing, since it seems a bit random in the first place that she also provides armor, as if being a 1-cost 1/1 that grows rapidly fast wasn't good enough. Why doesn't she also give some health or even armor, which can be abused with relic weapons if you please to do so, which currently nobody does really, because it's kind of hard to make work. The other change is kind of surprising and questionable to me. It's Levitate. The last playable 1-cost cantrip is gone. Now it costs 2 like Inspire. I think this actually hurts TJP the least. The deck could work very fine without it, but it will hurt a lot of other decks. It will hurt all forms of Scream decks, for example, significantly. It will hurt primal-based control decks, like some Horror Control or Icaria Blue people were running Levitates and some Bring-Downs, just as anti-Aegis measure, and also to make Bring-Down a bit more playable main deck. As a nice 2-cost, semi-conditional fast spell removal. So all these things are gone now. The card is unplayable in Control now. So I don't like that change. I thought the card was fine. It was a nice utility card that made Aegis a lot more manageable for decks that, for example, don't have access to various favors or other incidental ways of popping Aegis. Now I think this change to Levitate actually strengthens Aegis and weakens Scream-based decks and some control decks significantly. So I'm not too happy about that change. But yeah, they think it was too strong for a long time but never played that much until recently, so they monitored it closely and now they decided to make a move, but they already were planning to make a move for a long time, technically is what they said. And then there are some more changes aimed at limited. Sheriff's Head is now a +3/+1 instead of +3/+3. To make it a little less powerful in the common slot, I guess. Or is it a common? Might also be an uncommon, I'm actually not sure right now. I don't play much limited. Then Herald of the Parliament is now a 1/1 that becomes a 3/3 instead of a 2/2 that becomes a 3/3. I guess because it was a pretty strong common, a 3-power 2/2 flyer that can be a 3/3 flyer, and mainly the powerful ultimate of providing you a 4/4 flyer 4/4 is really powerful in limited. I can see that. Another change that I actually kind of like is Brand Without Fear, which is created by Jawbone Greatsword, now costs 6 instead of 7, making him much more playable and much more of a flood protection option in aggressive decks. For example, Skycrag aggro can very easily support 2/4 Jawbone Greatsword as Curve Topper instead of something like, say, Mortar, because it lets you deal with Aegis units. It is a recurring non-unit threat against control, and it scales with Warcry making it a really nice card there. But 7 for Brand is like a lot for the deck. It doesn't happen very often. It happens as often as you ultimate your values, which just doesn't happen that often. But what happens a lot more often is that you hit 6 and ultimate your Pyronite, and now you can hit 6 and also play Brand Without Fear to actually get some payoff of the tribute if you manage it, even in an aggro deck, making the card a lot nicer, actually, I think, especially in these decks. So yeah, that's kind of a nice subtle change there. Aijin's Choice now is a fast spell, which makes a lot more sense and makes the card a bit more reasonable. It's still not great, and still probably will see barely any or no play, but at least now it's a bit of a consideration. Like now, for example, it can be an okay option in the market and stuff like that, because it's at least playable. Before it was just like utterly unplayable. It was really, really horrible non-fast for what it did. But yeah, it's still pretty weak. And last but not least, we have Shadow Stalker now costing 3 and double Shadow rather than 4 and double Shadow, which also seems like a pretty good change, since 3/3 for 4 that is unblockable at night and only night falls on tribute really isn't very good at 4. At 3, it's not insane, but it's pretty solid. Like now it's a pretty nice card in limited. A 3-cost 3/3 is decent, and with the upside of triggering Nightfall and having synergy with Nightfall, getting a couple of potential unblockable attacks in, especially with weapons, makes this a pretty nice 3-drop now. Before at 4 it was just, I think, pretty underpowered compared to a lot of other 4-drops, even in limited. Alright, that's the changes. I still think it would be nice for them to communicate balance changes a bit more ahead of time, and not basically just like, okay, we're going in downtime in like, I don't know, an hour, and here are the patch notes and the balance changes that we didn't say a beep about before. So yeah, that's not that cool. Maybe it was kind of an emergency decision here that they took, because in the past they often were like, okay, there are balance changes coming in a patch in a few days and stuff like that. So they usually gave us a heads up. But yeah, this time they didn't. I hope in the future they will try to give us a heads up a bit earlier than on the day of, a couple hours before at best. I didn't even see the notification because I was not online. But yeah, it was pretty last minute and out of the blue. Okay, that's it for the review of the balance changes. This should open up the ladder metagame a bit more and make TJP a lot less threatened, or simply just kind of fade away, at least for now as a deck, and make room for more other decks and some more diversity, because the deck was pretty demanding on other decks to try and be able to have a reasonable matchup against it. So I think it's a very healthy change. Okay, thanks for watching everyone. That's the latest Eternal news. I am Manu S, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.